Okay, we're on to the next step. Step number, I don't know what step this is. It is the cutting, book match wood top. Go in the wood room, find a highly figured piece of walnut and cut it to a rough length of 17 inches on the miter saw. So what do I mean by highly figured? See this piece of wood right on this side? Super boring grain. This over here, it's really straight. This middle has some pretty cool figure in it. But overall, this piece is boring. Looking at this piece, the grain is really straight and boring. I've got two pieces here that are gonna make awesome book matches. See how the grain bends and twists, and it's got a knot in there too. We could use this piece. This would make a really nice book match. I think I'm actually gonna use this piece where these pieces turn, they go down and then they go back up, down and back up. I'm gonna use this to do my book match. So if this was a brand new piece of lumber and somebody hadn't already trimmed off the cracks, trim off the cracks, okay? Put the scrap in the wood bin for firewood, and then cut to a rough length of 17 inches. Set the stop block to 17. I'm gonna have this flatter edge against the fence. And then cracks are gone, cut to 17. Take the rest of this, put it in the wood room. I don't have time right now, I'll do that later. I'm gonna come over and on the paper it says joint one edge. So I'm actually gonna put the coolest edge, the one with the most figure down. See how this top edge is kind of boring? I'm not gonna joint that edge. I'm gonna put the edge that's coolest facing down on the joiner, and I always joint each edge twice. The dust collector's not on or else you couldn't hear me. After this blade stops, clean off the table, set it there. If there's any gaps down along the table, rejoin it until it's perfectly flat. This is good. Now we're gonna come over the table saw. I'm gonna set the teeth 1 tooth above the material being cut. And for this step, set the fence to 4 inches wide. Lock down the fence, jointed edge against the fence. Crooked edge is gonna be cut off and it'll be on the little scrap that'll probably end up in the firewood bin. But 4 inches wide, jointed edge against the fence. Wait. Now use the push stick. Get this scrap out of the way. This is probably skinny enough. This is firewood. If it's a big chunk, put it in the scrap bin. I got my 4-inch wide strip. I have a jointed edge and a table sawn edge. These are 2 parallel edges, 4 inches wide. Let's go over here to the bandsaw. It's not plugged in. I'm going to unplug anything except for the miter saw. And then I'm going to set the height of this 1/8 to 1/4 above the material. Okay, and I'm going to stand this up on edge and I'm going to slice it right down the middle. Go nice and slow and you'll get a straight cut. If you try and force it and go fast, the cut's gonna try and wander and then it's not gonna be good for the next step. So right down the middle. As I finish, my thumb will be right here where the blade's gonna come out. So as I finish, I'm actually gonna finish pushing with the push stick, so my thumb's over to the right, out of the way. Go nice and slow, turn it on, feed it straight through. Keep it up against the fence, and the feather board is gonna help push it against the fence also. At the very, very end, I also was pulling this through from the backside, because if you're pushing and you're just pushing one piece, not both pieces are gonna make it past the blade. So I was pushing with the push stick, and then I was pulling with my left hand also. All right, here's where the magic happens. I'm gonna take this and I'm gonna open it like a book. If this is a book, this is page 1, this is page 100. We're gonna open to page 50 and 51. That's a pretty cool book match. Or I could open it the other direction, and those waves are right next to each other. So you've got two options. You got this option, or you've got that option. Let's go over to the glue table. I'm gonna set this down. So this white streak matching is pretty cool. Or this other way, all these waves matching is also pretty cool. I think I'm gonna do this one. So I'll set this aside for a second. Let's get some clamps. This one's missing its spring. I don't want to use that one. This set, I'll use this set, and I'll back these out so that I have all the threads possible to work with. I'm gonna use this. I need to run and get some glue real quick. For this step, you don't need to do precision gluing, because if you do precision gluing, it's like you risk not putting enough. If you just slather it on here, okay, and you put way too much, that's fine, because when we press this joint together, all the excess glue is just gonna squeeze out of the joint, and what the joint will need will stay in there, and what we'll squeeze out will just be extra. So make sure you keep the ends lined up. You don't want your pattern to be off by ½ an inch. You want all these little waves to line back up. All right, I'm gonna actually start this on the left, or sorry, on the right edge. I'm gonna slide this clamp. Maybe. Slide this clamp forward. Slide this clamp forward. I want the top parts of this pattern to be level. I don't care what the bottom. I don't want to glue it together with that sticking up. or that side sticking up. I want both to be exactly level. The bottom side, I don't care. That's not my book match side, okay? Line up the top, and then I will slowly turn this handle until this end bites into the locking mechanism. Once it bites in, I'll make sure this top's level, and then I'll crank on it. Oh, hold on. Okay, now I'm gonna do this side, and I'm gonna level as I work my way across. So this piece can flex up, this piece can flex down. I want it perfectly level, and then I'll start turning. And then you can feel the clamp actually start to bite. And then I've got about 4 or 5, 6 inches hanging out here. I'm gonna grab one more clamp. You want pressure on this. Oh, I grabbed the crappy clamp again. You want this seam to be pressed together all the way along the seam. You don't want this little wing hanging out here and have that not bond. So I'm going to level this. I can flex this piece up or down, level the top, and tighten. Okay, once I think I've got all 3 done, I'll just give them one more crank each. And that's ready. You could take your finger and wipe off this bead of glue. It'll save you a little bit in the next step. But that's book match top. We cut it down the middle. We had a rough length of 17, and then we glued it together where we like the pattern the best in the middle. So.